All right, welcome to WellSprings, everybody. Woo. Well, dang, all right, thanks. Get right, just kidding. All right, it's good to see people here today. Despite the lack of air conditioning, we will have it fixed by next week, we presume. And I want to welcome you whether you are here in Bell Hall with us or whether you are joining us online on our YouTube channel. My name is Teresa. My pronouns are she and her, and I want to welcome you here. We always start our day at WellSprings with singing, so please rise, whether in body or in spirit, for our first song.
It's morning, I wake up, the taste of summer sweetness on my mind. It's a clear day in this city, let's go dance under the streetlights. All the people of this world will come together more than ever. I can feel it, can you feel it? Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, every different color.
Feel that sunshine,
telling you to hold tight, things will be alright, time to find a better life.
come on over,
Down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, there for one another.
come on over.
Man, I know you wanna let yourself go. Oh, oh. Some people, it's a pity they go all their lives and never know how to love or let love go. But it's all right now, we'll make it through there somehow, and we'll paint a perfect picture. All the colors of this world will come together more than ever. I can feel it, can you feel it? Come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, every different color.
Don't you feel that sunshine?
Telling you to hold tight, things will be alright. Try to find a better life.
Come on over,
Down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, there for one another.
come on over.
Man, I know you wanna let yourself go. Let yourself go. We may never find our reason to shine, but here and now this is our time. And I may never find the meaning of life, but for this moment I am fine. So come on over, down to the corner, my sisters and my brothers, every different color.
Don't you feel that sunshine?
Telling you to hold tight, things will be alright. Trying to find a better life.
Come on over,
Down to the corner, we can leave it all behind. Never been a better time.
come on over.
Man, I know you wanna let yourself go on and on and on and
All right,
on
say it
and
now.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going on and on and on and on and on and on.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going on and on and on and on and on and on.
yeah, yeah,
On and on and on and on and on and on.
yeah, 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 yeah. Take a seat.
There is some good energy out there today.
It's admirable. If you don't know this next song, if you do, feel free to sing along with us. If you don't, that's fine too. Just enjoy. We're going to do this a little differently. sprightly. That's what we're looking for. Was God thinking about my country or the color of my skin? God thinking about my religion and the way I worship them? Did God create just me in her image, or every living thing? When God made me, when God made me,
Was God planning for believers or for those who had faith in Him? Did God envision all the wars that were fought in His name? Did God say there was only one way to be close to Him?
When God made me, when God made me. Did God give us the gift of love to say who we could choose? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me. Did God give me the gift of voice so some could silence me? Did God give me the gift of vision, not knowing what I might see? Did God give me the gift of compassion to help my fellow man? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me, when God made me.
Okay, now this one we will need your help with. So please rise, whether in body or in spirit. This one's easy to pick up. And this one is kind of for the way this week has been. We're gonna have to fight. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let discrimination turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let discrimination
on a talking, marching up to freedom land.
You got it now. Come on. Ain't gonna let no hatred
Turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
ain't gonna let no bigotry
Turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let no bigotry turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
All right, all together. Ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me round, turn me round, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
I ain't gonna let nobody
Turn me round, turn me round, oh, turn me round. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Thank you so much. Welcome to WellSprings on this very warm, downright hot day. So those of you who are on the internet, if you have cooled down in wherever place you are, oh, thank goodness, send some our way. And for those of you here in Bell Hall, I'm so glad you're here with me today as well. So, through the magic of our screens, or here gathering us through Bell Hall, my name is Kathleen Higgins. I'm serving this morning as our worship leader for this service. I'm pleased and honored to be able to do so. If you see me melting down, just go ahead and blot me up, and we'll be fine. So each week, though, when we gather, we actually light a chalice, and it's a symbol of our spiritual heritage as Unitarian Universalists. But it's a symbol of more than the past. It's also a symbol of what's here in our hearts, that divine spark that lights up each of us and lights up our world. So this week, I've asked Jen Miller to come up and light the chalice. And Jen is our brand new office coordinator for our first weekend here. So go ahead. And as Jen lights the chalice, may we pledge to share our light with each other and with the world. Thank you, Jen. And together we say, we light this chalice to celebrate the path lit before us, the warmth of kindness that shines from within us, and the radiance of wisdom that is be shared between us and never goes out. So each service, we honor that mission we have here at WellSprings, excuse me while I melt down, to be a community charged full with the charge of the soul. And what's charged me full this week, I have to condense for you to be leaving time for Matt to share his message. Usually, 4th of July, my husband Pete and I have a fairly large party because we're
have been close to the fireworks in our home. Well, we moved recently further away from the fireworks, but more than that, for the first time, we weren't home for 4th of July. We took the Spirit Airlines. I thought that was perfect, Spirit Airlines. And you know how in the transportation industry, they say how many souls are on board, right? So I thought it was perfect. How many souls were on board the Spirit Airlines? And the plane was packed with every kind of human being I think we've ever seen. Because I was using my cane, I was a little bit staggering at the time. They whisked me aboard the plane and sat me down, and I got to see everybody arrive. And there was an imam with 2 ladies in complete burqa, couldn't even see their eyes. There was a Sikh who came. There were people of every color and size and age and gender, and everybody just packed that plane. And it was, as we spoke of as an emblem of diversity, flying to Dallas in the middle of the country for the 4th of July. It was very exciting. So the reason we were going, visit family, but more than that, again, real quick, we were attending the North American Irish Dancing Championship. So the Canadians were there and everybody. We met people from California. We met a couple from Rhode Island. There were Irish dancers, have male and female dancers of all ages. And my great-granddaughter, Molly Rose, had qualified for the national championship dances. And so she went up and did a superb dance in front of 5 judges and about 300 people. Then she came barreling down after the dance, which went very well, and she was so excited, she said, "I've met a new friend named Nadia." So here is a person, 11 years old, who just danced in front of 5 judges and 300 people, and the highlight was she met a new friend, Nadia. Well, when they went to go ahead and do the awards, they ran the top 10 kids of her age range up on the stage. She was one of them. They began the countdown. So this is number 10, this is number 9, this is number 8, and each one would kind of stand aside a little bit, like to line up like this. Number 7, number 6, number 5. They were back. Molly Rose was still standing there. Number 4, number 3, and there they were, a young boy dancer and Molly Rose, and she had danced impeccably. We were so thrilled. She placed nationally the first time she ever danced in that venue, and so, wow, excitement. But the best part about the very best part of it was her take, and I found a brand new friend named Nadia. So what I wanted to bring here this morning is not just, of course, my celebration and being impressed with all that parade of humanity, kindly, full of care and compassion. Let me help you. Let me do this for you. We saw nothing but kindness the whole trip, on the airplanes, in the hotels, everything. I never thought I'd see people pulling together quite as well as they did. So I had put my concerns and worries aside about how we care for each other, and just was able to enjoy that moment of days after days of all those people helping each other, kind to each other, making sure nobody was lost, making sure everybody got able to come into the shuttles in time, held shuttles for people who were running. All that happened. More than I would have ever thought. But the best thing of it all is that image of having friendship be more important than triumph. So May I offer this to us? May our friendships count more even than any of our triumphs. And may we celebrate with and for each other, of the people, for the people. And blessed be. So, speaking of connection, which we've been, at WellSprings, the foundation of all we do is that power of connection, of making space in our hearts, in our lives, for each other. And this is the part of the service where we're going to honor that connection by greeting one another. For those of you who are joining us virtually, take a moment, share a greeting in a chat, maybe say hello in our WellSprings Oasis on Facebook. And it's our private group. Or just reach out for a text message or note to someone else in the community or in your loved one that you're thinking of today. And as we greet one another here in the room, please ask before you shake someone's hand or reach out to hug them. And if you, especially in the heat, we could melt down. If you prefer not to have people come up to you too close, just stay seated and we'll know to wave to you friendly from a distance. And for whatever way you're greeting, whether you're sending texts to people from here or from there, or going along to shake the hand or the occasional hug in the heat, go ahead, do that now. Thank you for all the warm greetings. Thank you very much for all the warm greetings. As we take a seat, we actually have some announcements to share with you. And I'm going to turn the screen here over to our membership and communication coordinator, Beth Trandall, for announcements.
Good morning, WellSprings. My name is Beth Trandall, and I'm here with your announcements for today. Over here, you'll find the QR code that you can scan at any point during these announcements to get more information. Last Sunday, Youth Bridge hosted an amazing tie-dye and barbecue event. We hope you were able to join us and enjoy the event. If you did, we'd like to issue an invitation to you. Next Sunday, the 14th of July, we're going to be asking anyone who made a tie-dye shirt to wear it to service. We'll take a group picture and get to see everyone's wonderful designs. Our ministerial intern, Nick Sanchez, is off for the entire month of July. If you need anything in the interim, you can reach out to Reverend Lee. You can also set up a meeting with him using the Calendly app for his return in August. As part of our budget planning process this year, a decision was made to have Heartworks self-support itself using the revenue generated by the Cash for Causes giant gift cards. You can help support all the wonderful work that Heartworks does by purchasing a giant gift card. The deadline to purchase gift cards for this month is July 15th. That's all for today. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Beth. So I invite you now into a time of generosity. It's an opportunity to express our gratitude for the ways WellSprings impacts our lives and the lives of others. If you care about this community, if it's helped you through some tough times recently that we've been living in, we hope you'll honor what this place means in your lives by sharing a gift with us. Our greeters are about to pass the hats. If you'd like to put something in the virtual hat today, just text WSPRINGS, that would be WellSprings, to 73256. A link is going to pop up so you can make a gift online. There's also a link to our online giving form in the video description, which we'll display below. Thank you for all the ways your gifts of time and energy and money and kindness and attention and care. They all support our WellSprings community and the communities and the partners that we support beyond these doors. So our offering will now be gratefully received. Having shared energy between us and giving beyond us, let's take some time now to reground into that deep and soulful energy that's within it. And we do that by doing what is most simple and elemental in our lives. We take a breath, inhaling and exhaling without rush or hurry. Breathing in and breathing out. There's nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. So let's be here together now as we prepare for our time of mindful silence. We follow these words from Thich Nhat Hanh into our time of meditation. If we want to enter heaven on earth, we need only one conscious step and one conscious breath. Let us cultivate peace and experience presence in this quiet time together. is that we are, whatever it is that we're doing, however it is that we're feeling, let us remember that peace and presence are always as close to us as is our own breath. May this be so for you in this moment. May it be so for you this day. May it be so for you in the days to come. And may it be so for all of us. Now it's time for our young ones can join Miss Carol in the back of the hall for our time in Youth Spirit. And we always add a little reminder, if you brought a kid, bring that same home with you. And with that, the band is ready for their next song.
Please rise, whether in body or in spirit. If you feel like singing a song and you want other people to sing along, just sing what you feel. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. And if you're trying to paint a picture but you're not sure which colors belong, just paint what you see. Don't let anyone say it's wrong. And if you're strung out like a kite, still awake in the night, it's alright to be brightened. There's a light, one light, there's a light, one light, there's a light, white light inside of you. If you think you might need somebody to pick you up when you drag, don't lose sight of yourself. Don't let anyone change your back. And if the whole world's singing your song and all your paintings have been hung, just remember what was yours is everyone's from now on. And that's not wrong or right, but you can struggle with it all your life. You'll only get uptight. There's a light, one light, 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 there's a light, one light inside of you.
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, it is so hot in here. Oh, I showed up here and I thought to myself, oh, it doesn't feel so bad in here for no AC. But now we filled the space with music and bodies and energy, and so I'm used to it feeling like the frozen food section of the grocery store in here, so this is quite new to me. There's water outside, so if you need some, please feel free to go out and get some, and just take care of your physical needs while I'm giving the message, and we'll all get through this in one piece. So this morning, for the spirit flick that I'll be discussing, I'll be talking about A Christmas Carol, and particularly the Clive Donner version starring George C. Scott. This is the version that I grew up with. It's an adaptation for television. It aired on CBS in 1984 when I was 4 years old. Yeah. Yep. My grandparents owned a VHS copy, and it became my family's favorite. And the Clive Donner version, it's set in Shrewsbury, England. It has an amazing soundtrack by Tony and Nick Bika. And my brothers and I would watch it when we would go to my grandparents' house. And we would even watch it when it wasn't Christmas. Now, the reason I'm talking about this movie today is not because I have this crazy love affair with Christmas. I do enjoy Christmas. There are parts of it that I like, and there are parts of it that I don't like. And so what happened was this past Christmas I was watching it, and I thought this would be a great movie to discuss during Spirit Flicks. And so here we are on this sweltering July day talking about this Christmas story. And what I loved about it when I was a child, and what I still love about it, is it's a great Christmas story. And when I was a child, there was nothing to dislike about Christmas. Everything about it was magical. And in this story, there were ghosts. Kids love ghosts. The plot was easy to follow, and it had a happy ending. The things that I appreciate about it as an adult are that it gives us a glimpse into history. We get to see Dickens's commentary on social inequalities and the need to care for people at every level of society. And these are themes that are extremely relevant to us today in the United States. I wouldn't consider it a children's movie, not this version, maybe one of the cartoon versions like the Muppet version or the Donald Duck version. Because this particular version has pretty scary ghosts. There's Jacob Marley, there's the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, and there's the themes of death and of torment of the soul. And they go to pretty dark places in this movie. My grandmother, I just have to give huge props to my grandmother right now for letting me and my brothers watch this movie at such a young age. She could have easily said, no, it's too scary for you, you're not watching this yet. But she let us watch it, and I think she knew that it wasn't just a horror movie just for horror's sake. I think she recognized the literary benefit and the huge lessons in it that I could contemplate as I got older, and that's exactly what happened. And even though this is a Christmas story, I don't think you need to be a Christian to appreciate it. This story is filled with themes that concern us as human beings. And the themes that we'll be talking about today are the nature of good and evil in people, and the amazing transformation that we're all capable of when we take an honest look at our lives. Before I jump into the wisdom of the movie, I would first like to say something about self-reflection and taking an honest look at our lives. Self-reflection is something that we're really good at here at WellSprings. We even have a 9-week discussion series called Listening to Our Lives, We also call it WellSprings 2.0. And in this discussion series, we explore big questions. We explore timeless spiritual topics like inspiration and God, community, suffering and death, spiritual practice, and living our gifts. And we explore these topics not in a dogmatic way, not so that we can find the answers outside of ourselves, but we look deep within and we see what our own lives have to say about these topics. And so turning to A Christmas Carol now, in the film, in the book even, the main character, Ebenezer Scrooge, is forced to have his own personal listening to our lives workshop. It's a journey deep into his soul. And this takes place all within the span of one evening, Christmas Eve. And this is confusing for Scrooge because he doesn't think there's anything wrong with him. He's just living his life the way people do. But at the beginning of the movie, we see the issue pretty clearly. We see Ebenezer refusing an invitation to his nephew's house to celebrate Christmas. We see him becoming pissed off about having to pay his clerk, Bob Cratchit, for a day off on Christmas, even though he pays Bob Cratchit a measly salary to begin with. And we also see Scrooge being approached by two men who are asking if he would like to make a donation to the poor around Christmas time. In Scrooge's reply, he says, "Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons?" And the gentlemen say, "Well, many can't go there, and many would rather die." And in response, Scrooge says, "Well, if they would rather die, then perhaps they had better do so and decrease the surplus population." This is an attitude that is still well and alive in our consciousness nearly 200 years later in our approach to the poor and solving the solution of poverty. Scrooge was emotionally and psychologically cut off from everyone around him. Fun and joy and connection with others were completely pointless to him. He lived a lonely life and buried himself in his work and just wanted the world to leave him the hell alone. And thus began Scrooge's journey of self-discovery. And it begins with the ghost of his deceased business partner appearing to him, Jacob Marley. And Jacob Marley looks so scary. He's bound with chains and cash boxes and wallets hanging from him. And he comes with a warning for Ebenezer. He says, the way that you're living your life, cut off from everyone, is not helping anyone. And it's certainly not helping you. And during the visit, Scrooge asks Marley, "Why do spirits wander the earth? And why do they come to me?" And Marley says something that we can all take to heart. And I'm going to quote it verbatim. I just want to point out this was written in 1843, and so there are masculine pronouns, and there's the use of the word man, but these refer to everybody. And so why do spirits wander the earth, and why do they come to me? And in response, Marley says, "It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit does not go forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share but what it might have shared on earth and turned to happiness. And then Marley prepares Scrooge for the visitations of the three spirits individually. And as I was considering the themes of each ghost, I actually took a topic from our Listening to Our Lives series and applied it to each of the ghosts. And so the first ghost is the ghost of Christmas past. And with this apparition, we get to take a look at the theme of suffering, and we see it in the context of Scrooge's life. We see a time when Scrooge actually enjoyed people. He enjoyed dancing, and he even fell in love. And we also see the ways that he suffered. He grew up without a mother because she died giving birth to him. He grew up without a father emotionally because his father held a grudge against him, sent him off to boarding school, and wouldn't have to deal with him. And so we also see the way that his preoccupation with financial success caused him to lose the love of his life. And so we see all the ways that Ebenezer Scrooge was hurt. And it's very reminiscent of a song by an Irish rock band called The Script. They have a song. It's called Hurt People, Hurt People. And this is certainly the case for Scrooge. After exploring the theme of suffering, we have the appearance of the ghost of Christmas present, and we get to take a look at the theme of beloved community in the context of Scrooge's life. We get to see how Scrooge's thoughts and words and actions prevent him from connecting with those around him. We see them visit the house of Bob Cratchit, Scrooge's employee. We see how they get by on so little. We see how Tiny Tim might die if his condition isn't taken care of. And we see how Scrooge has had an opportunity to bring happiness to this situation, and he hasn't. We see Scrooge and the ghost visit Scrooge's nephew, and we see his nephew regretting that he can't have a nice relationship with his uncle Ebenezer. We see the ghosts poking fun at Mr. Scrooge's stinginess. And here we see another opportunity where Ebenezer Scrooge could have brought happiness, and he hasn't. When the third ghost arrives, we get to explore the theme of death. Ebenezer Scrooge comes face to face with his own death. He sees that there's no one there to care for him when he dies. His cleaning lady steals his things and tries to sell them for money. And the most moving part of the movie happens when Scrooge wipes the snow away from his own tombstone. And this is the turning point for Ebenezer Scrooge. He realizes the emotional pain that he had been dealing with and the pain that he had been causing to everybody around him. And in the end, Scrooge does change. And with this theme, this is the theme of living our gifts and even salvation and grace. And when I say that Scrooge changed, I don't want to say that he became good or he got better. We need better words than that. Because in our polarized political environment, in our polarized lives, we're always looking for good and bad, but we need to really look at what change took place here. What I would propose is that Scrooge began to care. He began to care for those around him. He began to care for his nephew. He began to care for his employee, Bob Cratchit, and his family. He began to care for Tiny Tim, who does not die. And he begins to care for the poor. He begins to see his connectedness with everybody around him. And he saw the gifts that he had to share with the world from the very beginning. He saw the opportunities that were given to him to bring happiness to others and to himself. And so, who is Ebenezer Scrooge? In this story, he is the villain. No one named their kid Ebenezer for the next 200 years after the story was written. The word Scrooge became a word in our vocabulary and in our dictionary. He was the villain. And yet, few people acknowledge the fact that he's also the hero. And Scrooge is in all of us. We are all capable of creating great pain in people's lives. And we're all capable of creating great happiness in each other's lives as well. It's so easy to label people as good or bad, as friend or enemy. And at this time when wars are raging around the world, when wars are raging in our own hearts, and it feels like our world is hanging by a thread, we're so fixated on getting the right people into power, consolidating power, and passing the right laws. And here we have an opportunity to look at ourselves and look at each other and acknowledge that the hero and the villain reside in each one of us. Russian author Alexander Solzhenitsyn writes, "If only there were evil people out there, insidiously committing evil deeds, and it was only necessary to separate them from the rest of us and destroy them. But the line dividing good and evil cuts right through the heart of every human being. And who among us is willing to destroy a piece of their own heart?" While we recognize that we are capable of creating great beauty and the opposite of beauty, it's important that we focus on the fact that we all have the capacity to care. And what if we turned our attention to drawing out that care from ourselves and each other? Perhaps we can tap into this capacity to care by healing our individual and collective wounding. Perhaps we can tap into this care by holding space for others to heal their lives. Perhaps we can make peace with the fact that none of this was made to last. And perhaps we can resolve to embrace every opportunity to create happiness for ourselves and for each other. And the last thing that I want to talk about, and this is the thing that I love the most about this story, it's the role of God in A Christmas Carol. This is a Christmas story, and Christmas is a sacred holiday in most Christian traditions. Not all of them. Not all Christians celebrate Christmas. In most of them, they do, though. And there could be so many interpretations of where God is in this story. And maybe Charles Dickens did this on purpose. Charles Dickens was not a fan of organized religion. He was not a fan of dogma. And he leaned into Unitarian Christianity. And this was at a time when the prevailing Christian view of God was one that doles out rewards and punishments for how people live their lives. And this is still a popular belief today, and not only in Christianity, but so many other religious traditions. In Unitarian Universalism, our beliefs about God are not that important. They're important to us individually, and that's why we all have different ideas about who or what God is and how or if we should engage with God. And so in this story, you could say that maybe God or grace or some outside power was at the heart of Scrooge's whole spiritual journey. But you don't have to say that. Without a God who's doling out rewards and punishments, where is Scrooge's condemnation and his salvation coming from? Perhaps this is not a power that resides outside of us, but perhaps this power to create heaven and hell comes from each one of us. And maybe it's a matter, as Kathleen shared in her chargeful moment this morning, maybe it is a question of finding the way to embrace friendship instead of triumph over others. Maybe we are the ones with that power to create heaven or hell for ourselves and each other. Amen, and may you live in blessing. And I'll invite the band back up, and I'll invite you all into the spirit of prayer. And I think what I'll do first, before a short prayer, is read from the WellSprings DNA, this value that we hold dearly, this value of original blessing. We are born into original blessing, inherently whole, because we are a part of a source that is whole. Although our life experiences and our choices may fragment us, there's always the potential for integration within each of us. And so, Spirit of life, in whatever way God shows up in our lives, universe, grace, salvation, soothe the wounds of the past, individually and collectively, so that we can open our hearts for the healing of ourselves and those around us. Help us to not be afraid of the transitory nature of this life, but help us to make the most of every moment that we have here. Guide our hearts to the happiness that we are, and help us to share it with all life. Amen.
Please rise, whether in body or in spirit, for our last song today.
I said, Lord, here's the total of what I have done. Sometimes I did good, sometimes I did wrong, but I did the best I could from where
And now this light goes out, but the light within each of us remains. And together we say, as we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our paths today, tomorrow, and always. Oh, friends, drink plenty of water. Make happiness in your life. Be compassionate with yourself. And make space to be compassionate with others. Take us out, guys.